to more of a statewide level, and then after that, a national level. So without further ado, let me go ahead and switch on this AirPlay here. You should.
There you go.
So this printed out, this is one of our recent projects for a company out of Cape Coral. So you can kind of see that wow sizzle that it kind of creates for the audience. So this is
Yeah.
So cool.
And the reason I printed out black and white is because there's nothing, you know, the paper is just regular paper, and you don't even need to be in color. So, cool thing is it'll pick up that one, that one. And then we can actually turn the roof off and look inside.
That's amazing.
Do you have major home builders on this at all?
This is Ashton Woods, which was, they're one of our bigger clients.
Yeah.
But we're actually finding that some of the small builders are taking the risk because there's not as many hoops to jump through at a corporate level. So they're able to see it, embrace it, and run with it, which has been phenomenal to us.
That's awesome.
So
all that 3D information is contained in the image itself?
actually, the image is solely a tracker. It's connected to the CMS, to the database, and what makes it unique is it is recognizing contrast on paper. So differences in contrast is how it basically knows where to put all those little points from the 3D model. So,
But is there some identifier, like the based on which how do you build up the model? I mean, somehow it has to recognize that this is that and that is
Correct.
that.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys want to.
Yeah, take a look. You can drive that one, okay? Not the drone, but this one you can drive.
So the technology behind it, to answer your question, is we create the 3D content, and then we optimize it for mobile. And what we do is we actually use a software engine that's used for video games, Unity, if you guys know, Unreal. This is done with Unity. But we optimize the model, create the model, optimize the model, and then we host it on our finger.
Didn't know where the camera was.
And then we host it on our web-based CMS, and then it all speaks to each other when each device is downloading it.
So how long this kind of model to build up?
So for an interior or for an exterior, we're about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
For something custom like this 3-story house on the water, waterfront, like that. But we're constantly optimizing our pipeline and workflow to get things done faster and more efficiently and lower the bar of entry, lower and lower and lower until we can hit a mass market and roll it out. So.
And then what about the interior? So because
interior,
you can look at it all around from the outside, but then you can take the roof off and then you see all the interior.
Correct. So they're separate tiers. Mm-hmm. So there's the exterior and then the interior and exterior. When we do the interior, it adds another 2, depending on the level of complexity, 2 to 3 weeks on top of whatever we're doing. And again, we're still refining that. And the process of getting something from a floor plan, PDF, or a sketch to this is really, you send us the information, you send us the materials that you want us to use, you send us the CAD files for the floor plan elevation, and we do the rest. We'll work with you, we'll send you a proof, and it's pretty seamless. And we can scale if we do 1, if we do 5, if we do 10 at a time. We can scale instantly to keep up with the demand.
Very nice. And then you have pre-made objects which
Yeah, so-
you place into these houses?
Correct.
Or how
So-
does that go?
We have a library of low poly assets that we pull from for furniture or for tables. We can do custom anything, but there's a price tag associated with that. But most times, clients are good with the off-the-shelf, they're contemporary, looking furniture pieces and
Take a look.
So,
Could you give it to her?
so any questions on AR while I have it on?
Yeah, point the camera at it.
I have a,
Go ahead.
sorry, I have a strange question.
Yes.
Could you just do this for houses, or like Shauna here is getting married in a few months? Could you like pull up, if she had that kind of money, like a version of what her wedding could look like her reception and her ceremony, or?
Yeah, like the
Like
tent
that
and all the tables and that's something that could be done with it. Anything you can do in 3D, we can do that. So yes,
Cool.
that's something we could do. But for something like that, we would just do a still image of like a top-down view. It just makes more sense for that kind of thing. Because the number of times you would go and revise it and change it and move it, it doesn't make sense to do it. This is for more of a Olenar that says, here's my Capri model that I'm going to build 1,000 of. Let's go ahead and we know the Capri is not going to change. We can do color schemes for them, but they're rolling it out. They're selling it like hotcakes. And
Very cool. Just wondering.
yeah, but actually, we are looking at we definitely want to stay in the real estate industry, but there are other markets like higher-end luxury goods, like yachts and things like that, private jets. I mean, where there's only one Citation X can be built, we can do a really nice presentation that people of that caliber will expect when they are going to buy a plane. So.
So the application itself, which you built up on the mobile device, that is really reaching into a database, pulling these up, and kind of real-time building it up, or how does that work architecture-wise?
Sure. So the 3D model is housed in the cloud. It downloads a 3D file, and that 3D content then gets dropped on top of the paper. So it's already created. The textures are baked. So like all of this stuff, you see shadows. You see. There it is. So you see these shadows. Those are all pre-baked in before we upload it. So it takes a lot of stress off of the device itself. As you know, you have very limited processing power on these devices, and you have to make them compatible with older devices. So you don't want somebody with an older phone not being able to have the same experience. So we have to find the middle ground and cater to everybody.
You can take the roof off.
Yeah.
There is an on-off.
Yeah, click on
Yeah, we're actually we're going through version 2 right now. We're adding functionality. We're adding animations to the models. So that way we're doing like a construction time lapse, so you can see this house being built in front of your eyes. So that's the next iteration that we're working on, as well as some improvements to the UI UX, because it's just.
So basically your app is really just kind of a window which is
Exactly.
pulling all that info real time
Yep.
from the database to see this.
Correct.
So
The
it's all
previewer-
kind of real time per se rendered through your app.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean-
it's pulled real time.
It's already rendered,
It's a
but
prepackaged.
it's
Yeah.
prepackaged, okay.
Exactly.
So basically in that case your mobile app doesn't do that much, so it doesn't really, the database is where it's already, all the information exists, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And so on top of animated augmented models, we're also going to be doing 360 images you'll have little hotspots on there that you could use the accelerometer and look around. Actually, I should pull it up on one of those. That'll be incorporated into this, because that's another service that we do, but we're trying to tie everything into one little package.
So the other ones don't have the housing blueprints?
Yeah, correct. Some of them are exterior only, some of them are interior. We're working on ways to identify that so that people aren't. It's all part
But
of
that's
the
based on the
process.
client. I mean, some client may just want the outer shell to show, not the interior.
Exactly, and we're going back to Babcock. Those guys are super forward thinking, and
Mm-hmm.
we're actually going to be doing an augmented reality model of the site of some key areas on that property. So that's going to be we're working on that right now. So that'll be pretty cool. But what I was trying to get at is it's not just houses. It's commercial properties. It's new communities. I found that some of our clients, they're GCs, and they want to be able to really wow a presentation. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing. And we've been told that it helped to kind of stand up from the rest, and we'll take that.
So but theoretically, I could have a map of the whole community, and then just the same way in 3D, I could look through the streets and all that.
Exactly.
That would be really cool.
Just like go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, you said that you're focused on real estate, right?
Correct.
I mean, you could imagine other applications, but are you focused on real estate specifically for a strategic reason that you feel like you'll get the most leverage just staying there and really
Absolutely.
fine
Mostly
tuning?
because I have ADD, and if I focus on other places, I won't get anything done.
Right, I mean, if you're trying to do 10 different things.
Exactly.
you know,
And my wife
Same.
reminds me of that every day. So ladies out there. So yeah, as we get bigger and as we scale, I definitely want to have different niche markets that we can tap into. But right now, we find that there's so much room for growth within the real estate industry that it doesn't make sense to try our cards anywhere else. So we're gonna stick with it. And like I said, we're finding that some of the little guys are really embracing it, right? But also awareness is building up. If I would have told you this, a year ago, you'd have looked at me like I was crazy. And maybe some of you guys are right now, which is okay. But people have, Oculus Rift coming out, VR, AR is becoming more, trending, and so that helps to really explain it. So the ones that are adopting it early are going to reap the most benefits. So that's what we're continuing to build on that, and we see the momentum growing. So we're preparing for it, and hopefully,
Look how cool that is. It looks like it's standing right on the table behind people.
And
Very
the
cool.
more, the more vertical you go with this, the more impressive it is. So like we're working on a high rise, and that is impressive because it's 40 stories, and it's like you're looking.
In that case, would you
Presents
be able to
its own
keep the 3D model in place even though the camera isn't on the paper? If you're looking at it from the side?
Well, that's one of the challenges, because if you can't do this, you have to do this.
Right.
So we're working on some ways around that, but it's still pretty impressive when you pull back and you see the whole thing. Yeah, because when the glancing angle like this is kind of the best. So you can.
So there is a certain angle after which, as
Exactly,
we
you
can
kinda
see.
And the other thing with that going forward, we won't be printing these on glossy paper because the reflections.
These work way better. They show up instantly.
Yeah, the glossy paper tends to reflect light and mess with the camera.
And the shaders look better too on these too.
Oh.
That's probably because of the
Shaders, you're into 3D, huh?
the
Alright.
Media Max Cinema 4D Houdini
Cool. I'll talk to you afterwards.
shaders, node based, AngularJS.
All right.
That's why he's here, because I want you to
Good.
talk. Yeah.
So AR.
Yeah, very cool. You said that you have some kind of 360 look around kind of.
Yes, that's what I'll do that on this next one.
Okay.
So another one of our services. I got it updated for you. Okay, so interactive. This is another cool. actually, my iPad, is it? Let me see. Is that it? Okay. I'm gonna switch back.
Oh, okay.
So this is taking it a step further. Some of our clients want to have the AR, some don't. Some want to have customization capabilities on the interior. So this solution can be ported to either iOS, it can be ported to a tablet, to a kiosk that's in a sales center, which we have a demo in the office, which I really don't want to lug over. But that, so you could do the web, you could do apps, kiosk, the sky's the limit. Anywhere you can port it out to. What's that?
How long does it take to basically take a property from the blueprint and analyze it and to import it with all the
To create something like
textures
this?
and shaders?
Yeah, so when we first started, it took a really long time, probably in the neighborhood of 2 months, which is not, we were learning a lot of things along the way. We've managed to cut it down to about 2 to 3 weeks now for something like this, because we know what we can do, what we can't do, we know what we need up front. So, and we're continuing to find plugins and things that can speed up our workflow.
That'd be crazy if the back end could all be automated, where you get like a property and you can just be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna scan it and like we'll get back to you like later today.
If you could code it, then that would be higher today, higher price. Which is what we'd love to do. I'm sure there's going to be some way to do it in the near future, but we want to stay ahead of it and adapt to it. So really the core features of this are allowing the user to change, cabinet colors and real time. This is real time. So it's using the graphics processor of the tablet to crunch all the shadows and everything.
It's beautiful.
Maybe.
That's very nice.
Looks even better on 4K.
Yeah.
I
But
got a
That's
TV
crazy how
in
much control that you have with each individual model, and that's crazy that you guys actually made each individual model, and you even have like a imported Revo slider on that TV and
Oh, yeah,
crazy stuff.
yeah, we there's
There's a lot of
definitely
detail.
a lot of
Detail. That's why I'm wondering how long did this
Yeah.
like a model?
well, and like I said, we have standard libraries now that we didn't have before.
Just import the different objects, so you create all the models to standardize the action rules.
Exactly. So, and then we are tying it into social media, so you'll have Facebook login, and then you can customize it and then share it on Facebook.
So you took a picture and then
Exactly,
post that. Mhm.
Yep.
Very nice.
So that is the interactive part. Go back to this. Really, I think we kind of talked about the technology behind it. Any other questions on that? AR, VR?
Well, speaking of the distinction, it kind of makes me wonder, when you're, like, going back to the AR example, would you be able to achieve that without having the piece of paper there? I mean,
Yes.
in principle, you should be able to,
We can do object-based tracking, which we could track that object, track a chair, and augment something on top of that. We could do geolocation tracking, which is still a little primitive. It's not that great. There are a few other ways we can do it. What else?
so the main problem is getting the surface and the right dimensions in reality to actually project that virtual environment onto.
Well, once the tracker, once